Imagine this, an ancient patriarch, weathered by time and trials, lying on his deathbed. He calls his 12 sons into the room. But, this isn't just some sweet, sentimental goodbye. Jacob is about to issue these dramatic, prophetic destinies that are going to fundamentally shape an entire nation. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the raw, highly poetic, and sometimes surprisingly harsh final words of Jacob as he outlines the future of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, let's dive right into this. We'll start with a father's final gathering, then look at curses and lost birthrights. From there, we'll explore the scepter and the vine, review the fates of the brethren, focus on Joseph the fruitful bough, and wrap things up with the return to the ancestors. Section 1. A father's final gathering. That which shall befall you in the last days. You've really got to feel the incredibly high stakes of this narrative right out of the gate. Jacob isn't just offering fatherly advice here. He's laying the absolute prophetic foundation for a nation. The text says, "Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob." Just put yourself in that room for a second. The sons are being told to listen closely, because what they are about to hear are the generational consequences of their own past actions, colliding directly with their future. Moving into Section 2, Curses and Lost Birthrights, the Fall of the Firstborns. Now, in ancient times, being the eldest son was practically a golden ticket, right? You were basically guaranteed the lion's share of the blessing. And it starts with Reuben. Jacob says, "Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength." When you hear a grand opening line like that, you expect glory, you expect dignity and power to be handed straight down. Reuben definitely held that initial expectation to inherit the leadership of the entire family. But wow, watch how fast that expectation completely crumbles. On one hand, you've got what Reuben was supposed to be, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. But then Jacob hits him with a harsh reality. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel. And why? Because he went up to his father's bed and defiled it. That single-pass sin permanently strips him of his birthright. There's no sugarcoating it. And honestly, it doesn't get much better for brothers number 2 and 3. Jacob places some incredibly severe, specific judgments on Simeon and Levi. He actually calls them instruments of cruelty, recalling how in their fierce, unchecked anger, they slew a man, and in their stubborn self-will, they tore down a wall. Jacob straight up curses their cruel wrath. So what's their ultimate destiny? They get no unified territory of their own. They're going to be divided in Jacob and scattered throughout Israel. Section 3. The Scepter and the Vine. Judah's elevation and eternal kingship. So, with the first 3 out of the running, who actually gets the big blessing? The 4th son, Judah, steps up and receives the ultimate promotion. The mantle of leadership completely bypasses the older brothers and lands squarely on him. And the language Jacob uses here is just magnificent. He uses this vivid, regal imagery of a lion to perfectly illustrate Judah's newfound dominance. Jacob decrees that his brethren will praise him and bow down before him. Judah is the lion that absolutely no one dares to wake up. Now, embedded right in the middle of Judah's blessing is this absolutely critical concept, Shiloh. Jacob promises that the scepter, which is the symbol of royal power and lawgiving, shall not depart from Judah until Shiloh come. Based on the text, Shiloh represents the ultimate figure to whom the gathering of the people shall be. It's this poetic, enduring promise that Judah's lineage is literally destined for kingship. And the imagery for Judah doesn't just stop at power. It extends to immense, almost unimaginable prosperity. He washed his garments in wine. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. I mean, these are striking metaphors. Having wine so plentiful you could wash your clothes in it, and milk so abundant it whitens your teeth. It beautifully showcases the extreme agricultural wealth destined for Judah's line. Next up, Section 4, Fates of the Brethren, a mosaic of animalistic symbolism. Let's move to and see how this builds, because Jacob fires off a rapid succession of destinies for the next 7 brothers using this brilliant mosaic of animalistic symbolism. Zebulun is destined to be a haven of ships. Issachar is described as a strong ass, bowing his shoulder to serve. Dan is a stealthy serpent, biting at horse heels, yet he'll judge his people. Gad will be overcome by a troop, but he'll overcome at the last. Asher is going to yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind let loose. And Benjamin, a ravening wolf, devouring prey in the morning and dividing spoil at night. It's a wildly diverse set of fates. Section 5. Joseph the fruitful bough. Unprecedented blessing and divine protection. Okay, let's slow the pacing back down for a second to really focus on Joseph, the deeply favored son who had been separated from his brothers. You have to notice the massive contrast in his life. He faced severe adversity and betrayal. The archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him. But look at his response and his reality. But his bow abode in strength, made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. The Almighty granted him this unshakable, divine strength to withstand all of his enemies. And because of that faithfulness, the sheer volume of blessings poured onto Joseph is just staggering. He gets blessings from heaven above, the deep that lies under, and blessings of the breasts and womb. The text actually says these prevail even above the blessings of Jacob's own ancestors, reaching all the way to the utmost bounds of the everlasting hills. It's an all-encompassing prosperity meant to crown the head of the man who was separate from his brethren. Finally, Section 6. Return to the ancestors. The death of Jacob. So the blessings are complete. All 12 tribes had been addressed. And now the tone shifts to the solemn historical grounding as Jacob issues his final earthly command. I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave in the land of Canaan. The crucial point here is that Jacob isn't just making casual funeral arrangements. He is meticulously laying claim to the specific burial ground purchased by his grandfather Abraham. He's ensuring his physical return to the promised land. When we map this out, we clearly see the generations resting together in the cave of Machpelah. Generation 1, Abraham and Sarah. Generation 2, Isaac and Rebekah join them. Generation 3, Jacob's wife Leah is laid to rest there. And finally, the final rest, as Jacob yields up the ghost to be gathered unto his people. It just beautifully illustrates this massive generational legacy, perfectly closing its loop. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really thought-provoking question. Are our destinies shaped by divine prophecy or by the echoes of our own actions? Reuben, Simeon, and Levi saw their futures severely altered by their past deeds, while Judah and Joseph saw their endurance richly rewarded. The actions of these 12 men quite literally echoed into eternity. Thank you so much for exploring this amazing historical text with me. Keep learning and keep analyzing.